You might be wondering about this kerfuffle involving White House aide Natalie Harp, because much of what's going on here isn't necessarily being stated directly. This all started over the weekend when Democratic Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff said this.
See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying.
Natalie Harp is what is called in politics a body person, meaning she travels with the primary, in this case President Trump, and she takes care of all sorts of matters, big and small, names, details, social media posts, phone calls, etc. Now, Harp was also mentioned in the new book Regime Change as somebody who would leave notes around for the president saying things like, "You are all that matters to me." Harp also was mentioned in the recent story involving President Trump taking a different plane when there was this threat from Iran and leaving Air Force One as something of a decoy. Harp went with the president on the secret plane, and reporters and people like Secretary of State Marco Rubio were on the decoy plane. Harp, you should know, credits President Trump with saving her life. She had cancer, and she used an experimental treatment. President Trump had signed a bill allowing more freedom in experimental treatments, although a Washington Post investigation suggested that the treatment she got had already been FDA approved and wasn't necessarily impacted. Either way, what's important in that is that she apparently credits President Trump with saving her life, which seems an important detail. Now, Republicans are saying that Ossoff was suggesting something untoward when he mentioned Natalie Harp's name. Here is an example of a Republican who was upset about this on my show, The Lead.
Ossoff, what he's talking about is this long-standing rumor that Donald Trump is having a relationship with Natalie Harp. That's what he's referring to.
Now, Senator Ossoff insists he was not insinuating anything. Here he is on MS Now.
The commander-in-chief has mired us in this geopolitical disaster. People have lost their lives. Our naval logistics are frayed. The global energy system is in crisis. And he retreats into this bubble of West Wing aides who are his security blanket to make him feel good about himself.
When CNN's Kristen Holmes asked President Trump to respond to what Ossoff had said over the weekend, this is some of what he said.
Mr. President, yesterday Jon Ossoff said you'd rather travel with your aide, Natalie Harp, and build the ballroom than do your job as president. What is your response, Jon Ossoff?
You mean Pee Wee Herman? Pee Wee Herman lookalike? No, I would much rather do other things.
But then the White House exploded, going nuclear, trying to send the message that if any reporter or politician brought this issue up, they would really get personal and nasty. Although it could be argued that the White House doing that, all they did was make the Natalie Harp story a much bigger story. To be clear, there's no evidence that there's anything going on between Harp and President Trump beyond a normal politician, body person relationship. But in DC these days, smears and counter smears and just overall ugliness, well, it's sadly coin of the realm.